All right, let's talk about politics, but maybe in a way you haven't really thought about it before. We're going to look at how every single political idea, whether it's liberty or socialism, is basically built from the same set of raw materials. The only difference, the blueprint they use to put it all together. When you hear all these political terms being thrown around, liberty, socialism, justice, rights, does it ever just feel like a random list of words? It can be kind of confusing. But what if I told you there's a system to it, a hidden logic, that once you see it, makes everything a whole lot clearer? So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about the language of politics itself. Then we'll get into the actual building blocks, the concepts. After that, we'll look at the architectural designs, or what we call traditions. And finally, we'll show you how to put it all together so you can start seeing these structures for yourself. Okay, so here's the big idea for today. Think about politics like you would think about architecture. Seriously, to understand any building, you really only need to know two things, right? What it's made of and the blueprint the builders followed. Well, political ideas work in exactly the same way. It's this simple. You've got concepts. These are your raw materials, your bricks, your steel, your glass. Then you've got traditions, think liberalism, conservatism, and so on. These are the architectural blueprints, the master plans that tell you exactly how to assemble all those blocks into a complete vision for society. So let's start with those building blocks. What are these fundamental materials? What is every single political idea, every argument actually made of at its core? Well, a political concept is nothing more than a single core idea or value. It's like one Lego brick. You can't build a castle with just one red brick, but you absolutely can't build anything without them. They're the essential starting point. And here they are, the core building blocks you'll find in pretty much any political debate. We're talking about big ideas like liberty, equality, justice, rights. You get the picture. Every system is built using these, but, and this is so important, what each block actually means is up for debate. One person's idea of justice can look a whole lot like another person's tyranny. So these concepts, they're the what. They are the substance, the very stuff of politics. But that's really only half the story. Now we need to look at the how. How are these blocks actually arranged? And that brings us to the architectural designs. If concepts are the bricks, traditions are the blueprints that show us how to arrange those bricks into something that actually makes sense as a vision for society. See, a political tradition, what you might call an ideology, is the whole system. It's not just a list of concepts. It organizes them. It decides which ideas are the most important, which concept is the foundation of the whole building, which one is a supporting wall, and which one is maybe just some window dressing. I love this way of thinking about it. Two architects could be given the exact same pile of steel, glass, and concrete. One might build a towering skyscraper, while the other builds a cozy little house. It all comes down to the blueprint they're following, and that's exactly how political traditions work. Let's get really specific here. Take liberalism and socialism. Both of them use the concepts of liberty and equality. But here's the difference. They prioritize them completely differently. For classic liberalism, the liberty block is the foundation, right? The whole goal is individual freedom. Socialism, on the other hand, puts the equality block at the very center, focusing on the well-being of the whole group. Same blocks, different priorities. You end up with two totally different buildings. And of course, there are way more than just two blueprints out there. You've got a whole world of designs. Conservatism often prioritizes tradition and order. Feminism puts the concept of equality between genders front and center. Ecologism builds its entire structure around sustainability. Each one is a totally unique architectural plan, but they're all using those same core concepts. So how do we bring this all together? How can you actually use this architect's toolkit to make sense of the political world around you? Here it is, the main takeaway. The next time you're listening to a political argument, just ask yourself this one simple question. Are they talking about a single building block, like what rights really means? Or are they defending an entire blueprint, like socialism? Just figuring that out can bring so much clarity. So here's your analytical toolkit. 3 easy steps. First, just listen for the concepts being used. Are they talking about liberty, equality, justice? Second, try to figure out the larger tradition, the blueprint that's behind it all. And third, this is the most important one, notice which concepts they're prioritizing over the others. That's almost always where the real debate is happening. At the end of the day, this framework isn't about telling you what to think. It's more like a map. It's a tool to help you navigate the complicated and, let's be honest, often confusing world of political ideas with a little more confidence. So, now that you have the toolkit, the question really comes back to you. When you start thinking about what a better society would look like, which building blocks do you put at the very foundation? What does your blueprint look like? Because that right there is the starting point for all political thinking.